Okay, guys, we need to look at how to find the equation of a line that goes through 2 points. So the 2 points that I'm going to use here are -6, 8, and then the second point is going to be 3, -10. Okay, our steps here. Number 1 is we need to find the slope. Number 2 is we substitute in the slope and 1 point. And notice that we have 2 points, so we're only going to be using 1 to solve for b. And then step 3, write the equation. As y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if we take a look at the 2 points that I have listed up there, our first step is to find the slope. So to find the slope, I need to find the change in the x's and the change in the y's. So my first point is -6, 8. My second point is 3, -10. And the change in my x's, if I'm going from -6 to +3, that is an increase of 9. And then in my y's, I am going from 8 to -10, and that is a decrease of 18. Decrease means that it is negative. So my slope, remember that slope is the change in the y divided by the change in the x. This is the change in the x, this is the change in the y. It's a triangle there. So we need to take our -18 in the numerator and divide that by 9, and we get a slope of -2. So there's step 1. We found the slope. So step 2, we're going to substitute in our slope and 1 point to solve for b. So we're going to take y equals mx plus b. We are going to substitute in our slope, which is -2. So that'll give me y equals, my -2 goes in there for the slope, x plus b. And now we have to substitute in 1 point. You can choose whichever point you want. There are 2 of them listed at the top of the page. Pick one. I choose you because you look pretty. And this is going to be my x. This is going to be my y. So let's substitute in. So the y is -10 equals, my slope is still -2, and then my x is 3 plus b. Okay, so there is what I get after I substitute everything. And working this whole thing out, I have -10 on the left. -2 times 3 is -6 plus b. To solve for b, I add 6 to both sides. And I get -4 equals b, which makes my equation y equals -2x minus 4. The slope was -2, the y-intercept was 4. Okay, so if I do that again with 2 different points, let's look at this example here. We're going to look at -5, 4, and my second point is going to be, find one that I like, and I like 5, 10. Okay, so step 1, remember, is to find our slope. So x, y, I got -5, 4, and then I have 5, 10. Slope is, you calculate the change in the x and the change in the y. My x is increased. That's an increase of 10. My y's also increased. That is an increase of 6. My slope. Slope is always the change in the y divided by the change in the x. Remember, this over here is the change in the y. This is the change in the x. So my slope is 6 over 10, which we can reduce by dividing by 2 on the numerator and denominator to 3/5. It's not required that slopes be reduced, but like when you're doing your ESA, and if it's a multiple choice, then it's probably going to be in reduced form. So just make sure you do know how to reduce. Okay, so next step is we're going to take y equals mx plus b. We're going to substitute in our slope, which is this number right here. We are going to substitute in one of our points. I choose u because I like positive numbers. That's really the only reason. So here's x, here's y, because you can choose any point you want. And I'm going to substitute in 10 for y, 5 for x, and 3/5 for the slope. So y, 10 equals slope 3/5 multiplied by x, which is 5, plus b. Now, I know we have a fraction here, but remember that you can multiply fractions straight across. So I got to multiply 3/5 times 5. So I'm really just going to multiply 3 times 5, which is 15. So there's my 15 over there on the side. And then I'm going to multiply 5 times 1, which is 5. So I'm going to end up dividing 15 by 5, which is 3. So now I have 10 equals 3 plus b. To solve for b, I subtract 3 from both sides. 7 equals b. And then my last step is I write my equation. Y equals, my slope is 3/5 times x plus my b, which is 7. Okay, and this process will work every single time. So find the slope and then substitute in the slope and a point into y equals mx plus b so that you can figure out what b is. Okay? A third type of problem might be a problem where you are given the slope. So let's say I tell you the slope is 1/3 and I give you a point. So let's say the point is 6, -9. Okay? In this scenario, all you got to do is skip step 1. Step 1 is to find the slope. So skip step 1 and do the rest. The rest is take y equals mx plus b, substitute in your slope. So that's going to be my m, and this is my x, and this is my y. So substitute it all in. So y is -9, slope is 1/3, x is 6. All of that got substituted in, and I still have this plus b, so I'm going to solve for b. So -9 equals, when you multiply fractions, you can multiply straight across. So 1 times 6, which is 6. And then on the bottom, I got 3 times 1, which is 3. So I'm going to be doing 6 divided by 3, which is 2. That's a plus right there. So -9 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2 from both sides. And I get -11 equals b. So now I have my slope, which was given to be 1/3, and now I also know my y-intercept. So my equation is y equals 1/3 x minus 11. So if the slope is given, just skip step 1. Step 1 was to find the slope. So if the slope is given, you do not need to do step 1, but you can still plug in your slope and the point into y equals mx plus b so that you can solve for b, which is also called the y-intercept. Okay? So again, there are the steps. Find the slope, unless it's given. Substitute in your slope and one point, solve for b, and then write your equation y equals mx plus b.